All right, so today we have a 2006 Honda Element. Customer complains of intermittent belt squeal, maybe a bearing noise. So we go to check it out. Normally a belt shows a cracking pattern on the grooved side. This belt here shows some wear on the back side, real shiny. We have a couple different grooves. We look down at the tensioner. We'll be able to see this better when we pull it out. We have a lot of wear. We have a irregular pattern there. So we want to change the belt for sure. We want to change the pulley, which is the backside surface that it runs on. The tensioner, if the tensioner was flapping around as the vehicle was running and we had low tension to give the belt slap, we would be replacing it too. But this tensioner checks out good, so we're just going to go in and do the pulley and the belt. Alright, so Serpentine belts are kind of tricky, and they got some strange angles and leverage issues. So they make several different types of Serpentine belt tools. This one's made by Gear Wrench here. So it comes enough to do a wide variety. So this one here, the tensioner center bolt to the pulley is the actual tensioning point we want to grab. So that's going to be a 14. We don't have clearance to use socket, so we're going to have to use an open-ended style. So this tool does take a little bit of a couple components, so we have to go from one to another to this. So now we can have our leverage here. This tool here would fit into this, so it would give us even more leverage, and that's what we'll be doing here. So before we take the belt off, we want to take note of how the routing is. Normally there's a sticker somewhere on the bottom of the hood or the shroud that shows some belt routing. This vehicle does not have it, so we need to take a mental note of how it runs, which pulleys it loops around, and the direction it does. Sometimes if it's going to be a while or you're confused, taking a picture of this will help you through it when you get to the end there. So we'll start taking this apart. All right, so we did turn the wheel to give us a little access through the wheel well, just in case we need it. If you need more room, removing inner fender wells and things like that, that'll help you out. But we kind of know it's not the first belt we've done, so we'll snake around all these other components like that and to get it laid in. So we're going to loosen the tensioner. All right, so the tensioner tool, it's a little tight in this area. Just a regular boxed in wrench looks like what we're doing. So we have it on the nut. As we push down, the tensioner will go backward. And we can peel the belt. All right, so we got the top off. Now we can remove. For the rest, twisting the belt sideways will help free up some. So what it is the width of the belt to the frame rail is very small, so the belt has to be turned sideways to make it past some points. That's why you want to take note of how it goes in. All right, so basically we're caught between the crank pulley and the frame rail. The belt sits like this. There's not enough room. So we have to twist the belt this way, and that's where we're fighting a little bit. Removing more cover, that'll get you past the fight. That way you're not frustrated on what you can't see. Very tight. Looks like we were caught on the water pump pulley snout. Was what was holding us up just then. We had to
flip it sideways to get it past. So there's the belt wear, the problem that we were having, the noise. Normally a belt, they say, is bad. You know, you turn it like this. There's a spec of how many cracks per square inch, you know, for failure rate. This belt was good on this side, just noisy in the mornings, sometimes while driving. Customer did not like the squealing. We want to remove the tensioner pulley. This is the tensioner right here. So this bolt is also how we adjusted it. Taking the bolt off, we were going in the tightening way. Removing it, we will go in the loosen so that it doesn't spin itself off. Oh wow, see all the... Right? Okay. All right, so we removed it. We have take note. There are washers and how they sit so they don't interfere with the spinning. So make sure you do take note of that. You can see the pits, how it's shiny. We have this, almost the same groove pattern as the belt there. And this is why we are replacing it. Pretty dirty on the back side. You know, could cause that bearing noise. Quite a bunch of dirt there. All right, so we have our new tensioner pulley from Auto Parts Direct to You. So we want to make sure everything is the same. So we have the same diameter, same thickness. We have the same offsets. That way we know this is going to ride in the same spot. Looks like same diameters. So everything looks good with the part. Installing everything, washers in the same direction. All right, so doing this repair, we did drop the nut. Here's the tensioner. This is a brand new tensioner. So this was the bolt that we removed to get the pulley. There's a nut on the back side. That nut has fallen down, sitting maybe on top of the alternator, on top of the air compressor, the AC compressor. We're going to go ahead and do this job to remove all this like we were going to replace the tensioner. Just to make note, this one does have the nut on the back of it. Some do not. Some are threaded straight through, so it's not always the same. So we'll go ahead and remove the power steering pump. That'll give us some access down there. Really there's only 3 bolts holding this in, a center bolt. These bolts hold on other components, so we'll go ahead and remove it. Hopefully the bolt is somewhere close. Power steering pump. Now we have the tensioner. Okay, So that would be as if we were removing a complete tensioner. All right. So that's what we were after. Sitting in between the alternator and the water pump. So we'll go ahead and install this right here so we can show you that piece fit right there. We'll go ahead and make the final tighten once it's all bolted in. Always something. Well, without dropping it again, it looks like that has to come off to take the tensioner off. So we're going to put the bolt in just to make sure that we don't drop the nut off the back side. But to get this back bolt, the pulley has to be off. So tightening this bolt will also make it tension. So there's how the tensioner would work. There is a mark, it's hard to see with the belt on. There's a mark that, you know, this thing should be balanced somewhere right on that mark. If it's not, it's too loose, you know, wrong size belt, too tight. If it's whacking around like this, that's no good. That would be the spring. That's pretty loaded spring right there. So if it's bouncing around, the spring is no good. That's how you would know whether it's a bad tensioner or not. Okay, so we're all ready to go. I mean, tightening the bolt up is what does the tension also. So we'll do a final tighten once the belt's on. Everything is tight. Now we are gonna put the belt on the bottom with the power steering pump removed. Not how you would do it, but since we ended up this way, it'll be a lot easier to line all the belt down there around all the crank pulley and alternator and AC and all that good stuff. We did print off just to in the service manual. It does give you routing of how things are. So it shows you there's your tensioner, your crank pulley, your alternator, the power steering pump we just removed. So this gives you an idea of how we're wrapping this belt there. This would be in your service manual or should be mounted on a sticker underneath the hood there. Sometimes it's not, but your service manual will have this kind of information for you. All right, so we have our new belt from Auto Parts Direct to You. Like everything, we want to make sure this is the old belt, the new belt. So we want to make sure that these belts are the same length
and it is rough. So we look like we're pretty good. When we put it on, we should know 100%, but the length, you know, it should be all correct ordered. So we're looking pretty good. We could check numbers versus old versus new. And we are the same number, so the length should be the same. The number is in how long the belt is and how wide. All right, so now we've fished our new belt through. We're all wound on the lower side correctly on the pulleys. Now we're ready to put our power steering pump back on. All right, so it's a little tight down here. There are tensioner tools for this. There are other ways to improvise it. So I got 2 wrenches here, the 14 that is for the tensioner. Basically, I'm going to put this on. It's a little too small. I couldn't get enough leverage with the other one. I just didn't have the strength, one hand to move the tensioner, one hand to put the belt on in such a little room. So what I'll do is I'll put this on, I'll use this as leverage, I'll bind the 2 wrenches up together, so then I have quite a few more inches of leverage and I'm out of the way. So we'll get that on there.
So we want to make sure that all the grooves are lined up. We're sitting in all our pulleys correct. Now we want to make sure, the bolt, we were tightening the whole time, so. It shouldn't get any tighter. Making sure that pulley bolt is on there good. Okay. Alright, so we're all back together. I'm going to go ahead and start it up. We verified that everything is correct. Alright, so we verified that everything was good before we started it. We started it, no noise. It's like we took care of this customer's complaint of squeaky belt.